Hey everyone, this is Roland here. Welcome and thank you for being here. And today I want to talk about what happens to the enemy's plans for us, because he has plans. He wants to take us out. He wants to destroy us. But the good news is that the answer to that question is in the word, and the news is really good for us. So let's get into the word and find out what the answer is. And I'm going to be looking at the story of David when he ran away from Absalom, because Absalom was on his way to Jerusalem and was going to take him out if David stayed. So David and his men had to run away. And what happened is, as Absalom got to Jerusalem, Ahithophel, who was David's counselor, gave him some advice. Now, this is the thing, is that to be a counselor, you probably needed to know your stuff. You gave good advice, and you were on point. So Ahithophel was now Absalom's counselor, and which was really bad news for David, because Ahithophel knew David. He knew his in and outs. He knew how he did his thing. So now he was on his son's side, and so like I said, it was very bad news. But anyway, Ahithophel then goes to Absalom and he has this plan, and he tells him that let me go with some men and let me go and attack David. Like, he's weak and his men are weak and they are tired right now, and this is the best time because we will catch him unawares and I will kill him. So let me go. And this plan seemed good to Absalom and his men. And so before they implement this plan, they then tell him to wait, and they call Hushai, who is another counselor, who is another of David's counselors. And they call him on and they tell him the advice that Ahithophel has given. And they ask him, what is your advice? And Hushai, if you read earlier on in the story, David sends him back in the hope to overthrow Ahithophel's counsel. But anyway, Hushai gives advice and he tells them that, hey, Ahithophel's plan is not the best. And anyway, at the end of the day, Absalom and his men love Hushai's plan more, and they think it is better. But this is where I want to stop, because the truth of the matter is this, is that Hushai's advice was not better than Ahithophel's advice. Actually, Ahithophel's advice was way better. And we see this in the word of God. So let's look at the word and see this. And it says in 2 Samuel 17, verse 14 and 15. And it says, then Absalom and all the men of Israel said, Hushai's advice is better than Ahithophel's, like I said. But then we see the important thing here. It says, for the Lord had determined to defeat the counsel of Ahithophel, which really was the better plan, so that he could bring disaster on Absalom. So we see from the word that Ahithophel's advice was way better. It was a better plan. So if Absalom and his men decided to follow that plan, they would have managed to defeat David. They would have managed to defeat his army and kill him. But again, because David was not alone and God was with him, God was watching over him, God then overthrew the counsel. God overthrew the evil plan that Ahithophel had for David. And that is the same for us. And that is my encouragement today with you, is that no matter what the enemy's plan is, no matter how foolproof it seems, no matter how solid it seems, God is with us and he will overthrow, he will thwart the enemy's plans for us, just like he did for David. And again, like I said, because God was with David, that plan came to nothing. He overthrew that plan, and that is true for us. So there's no need to fear when the enemy comes up and attacks us. There's no need to panic when the enemy is coming full force, because at the end of the day, the Lord is fighting for us and he will overthrow all the enemy's plans. And this is another thing to remember, that the Lord will never allow the enemy to be victorious over us. He will never allow the enemy to win over us, because we are sons and daughters of God. So that is my encouragement for you today. Remember David, and remember how God overthrew the enemy's plan, which was a better plan, and if followed would have meant the demise of David. But that didn't happen because God was with them and he fought for him and he thwarted the enemy's plan. And that is the same for you and me. So be encouraged with that. And as I end, I want to remind you that you can now support me financially with a few dollars each month. And you can do so by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/Roland, ROLAIN. And with that, I've come to the end of the episode and I will see you next week.